lovelies, and welcome to today's video. My name's Alya and I'm so glad you stopped by. So really unusual setting and very good reason for it, but today we are going to be debunking a few eye myths because I think that it's about time that I give you my 5 cents on some myths that are just not true. So stick around and find out what they might be. So first of all, address the background. So I've been doing a lot of bits and pieces, which is why I haven't really uploaded lately. Definitely doing some preparations for Passover that are coming up really soon, really creeping up upon us. Also having to deal with some stuff with the kids. Thank God they're both fine now, but definitely not the easiest few weeks ever. And in the process of all of this, I've just had to move out of my usual filming room. It's all very temporary. I'll be there eventually, back in there. But for now, we're going to be using this room to chat and debunk some myths about the eye. So I've written some down and researched some as well, just to make sure that it's not just my opinion. It's actually the case. So the first one is my personal favorite, where I've actually had several patients over the years come and tell me that sunglasses are really bad for us. And actually they dim the eyes and prevent children from developing their eyes properly. So, not right. First of all, sunglasses only diminish a very small percentage of natural light when we're outdoors. The amount of lumen that we receive and the spectrum of light that we receive outdoors is massive. It is huge. And if we're able to block out some of those harmful rays, and it's only just the smallest proportion of those harmful rays that have been proven to cause early cataract, have been proven to cause macular degeneration, proven to cause things like pterygia, pinguecula, dry eyes even. And also, we've been able to demonstrate on many studies that wearing sunglasses does not diminish eye growth at all. In fact, you need 80 minutes minimum daily outdoor sunlight, natural sunlight exposure, with all the vitamin D and everything else to boot, as a child in order to get normal eye development. So sunglasses will definitely not do anything to stop that, but it will stop some other really harmful, damaging diseases that can occur if children or adults don't wear them. So no, sunglasses are a very good idea. And similarly with glasses, I've heard many adults tell me that if they wear glasses, they'll become dependent on them and it will weaken their eyes. So it takes roughly, different studies show different things, but on average 72 hours to go back to normal from wearing glasses. It is true that the muscles do relax when we wear glasses, but that is a good thing. It's no different to wearing an orthotic shoe and then going back into a pair of heels. Yes, those heels are going to be relatively less comfortable, but they look good. Same thing with the glasses. Functionally, they help the eye. In children, it is essential to prescribe glasses because it, again, will only ever help the eye. But if you ever wanted to see what it's like to be without them, all you have to do is go without your glasses for usually about 3 or 4 hours will do the job, but some studies have said 72 hours. But honestly, a little while can demonstrate a lot. The next myth, this is a good one. If you cross your eyes, the wind will change and you'll stay that way. Well, no. So the muscles of the eye are amazing. We are able to move them absolutely in any direction, and they usually work in unison. So where one eye travels, the other one travels. Now, sometimes we have conditions like esotropia or exotropia, so a crossed eye this way or one eye maybe traveling the other way. Very rarely do you get 2 eyes crossed. It's usually either one or the other, and they can go either way. Now, these are usually caused by a weakness of one muscle or the other. And most of these conditions are very much on the horizontal plane. So it's a turn inwards or a turn outwards. Very rarely do you get a upshoot or downshoot. If you do, it's a bit more of a complicated condition typically. Now, again, typically in children or in the very elderly, so when the muscles become so weak that they can't hold on anymore. It's also common with things like head injuries or in people with diabetes or some sort of a condition similar to that, in some autoimmune diseases and things like thyroid eye disease, because the eye gets pushed out a little bit. We all kind of know that thyroid eye disease appearance with the bulgy eyes, and with that bulging, the muscles become kind of strained. They actually become a bit stiff and things like that. Anyway, and they don't function as normally, and turns can occur. Similarly with stroke and things like that, lesions, etc. Head stuff, brain stuff. But in the absence of a disease, if your eyes absolutely move fully and normally and all the way around in all kinds of directions, most of us should be able to voluntarily cross our eyes and naturally uncross them too. And if you can't naturally cross your eyes, I would actually suggest that you maybe practice doing it, because focusing, especially being able to focus near and then far and then near and then far, is actually quite good workout for those muscles of the eye, and may one day prevent those eyes weakening or those muscles weakening in older age. Next one is that your vision will get worse if you read in a dim light. This is a tricky one. This is a really, really tricky one. I actually think that I've seen enough proof myself in my clinic to tell you no, they won't. However, it is assumed that that person is getting enough natural light the rest of the time. Even in my own family, so mum is an avid reader and used to get told, no, it's time to go to bed, and would just lie under the covers with a torch and read and read and read. I myself very frequently read in terrible lighting. I don't know why I do it. I just do. Especially over the weekend. I'll usually read by a sort of a slit in the window rather than just opening up the curtains, things like that. Is it good for us? No, it can cause eye strain. It can definitely give us a bit of a headache because the muscles of the iris have to work extra hard to get more light in. And also you might feel like your vision is diminished at the time of reading because you are sort of constraining things. But it's not permanent by any stretch. And again, as long as we're getting some daylight or natural light into our eyes, I'm not talking about sitting by a window, we're talking about going outside and getting some natural light on a daily basis, especially important in children. And as long as everything else is okay, like we're not in bed reading in dim light because we're unwell, it's just by choice, I don't really think that there's any study that I have been able to find or that I've ever come across that proves that exactly. But you do need to be aware that it's probably not the healthiest habit for the eyes either. So permanent damage, no. Would I recommend it? Also no. But do I do it? Yes, I do. And when patients tell me, oh, my kids read by dim lights and all this sort of thing, you know what, your kids are reading and they're not staring into a device, and I would celebrate that, because definitely blue light, on the contrary, is horrible for us. There's just so much evidence out there in the literature saying that blue light or screens are really particularly bad for us. Bad in the way that, if you're doing it for hours and hours and hours on end, you can see some evidence in the research to suggest that it does have some kind of impact on our cells that absorb the light. Especially that, the eye absorbs about a 400 lumen range. And that's a little bit limited. So we don't see ultraviolet, but we see the violet straight after, or the blue straight after it. And we see all the way to red, but not infrared. So those are the two borders, ultraviolet and infrared. So if we can diminish how much of that extreme is coming into our eyes, I can imagine that would preserve those cells a bit more and create less exposure to things like free radicals from artificial light. So blue light filter is really good, regular rest is really good, and blue light filtering glasses might be an option as well. But my favorite rule is the 20-20-20 rule, which is every 20 minutes you spend 20 seconds looking away in at least 20 feet away or 6 meters away. And that gives the muscles a rest, it gives your eyes rest from the exposure from the screen, and it allows you to remember to blink and refresh. And if you want to stand up and have a stretch at that same time, it's probably not a bad thing for the posture too. Only boys are colorblind. No, that's not true at all. It's probably more common in males just because it is a genetically passed on condition or feature. It's not necessarily Y chromosome though, but it most certainly is more prevalent in boys, because if it is an X chromosomal inheritance, then it's more likely to be demonstrated in boys who have only one X rather than girls who have two, and whichever one is active will be the case. The other thing is color blindness is not a hard and fast condition. There are very many different types of color blindness and different depths of color blindness too. So somebody might be totally red blind or totally green blind or blue-yellow blind, and in varying extremes. So can see some blues and yellows but not all, some reds and greens but not all, etc. And the only way to really understand what kind of color blindness they have is to actively measure it and research it and test for it. Just asking somebody, can you see this green shirt? No, I can't, is not a way to test what they have necessarily. And most certainly women can very much be colorblind. Some color blindness can be temporary as well. Some color blindness can be caused by things like cataract or things like that, some sort of temporary sort of condition. But most color blindness that is like a true color blindness is genetic, and you are born with it. It's not degenerative over age. It's something that you have your entire life, so you don't know different. So it's harder to detect because until it sort of becomes a problem in life, or comes up in life, it's undetected. Again, it will run in families, so perhaps you'll be looking out for it in your kids if you've got it. And yeah, I do definitely know that it's much more common in boys, but most certainly not exempt. Girls can certainly get it. Sitting too close to the TV or reading a book too close will ruin your eyes. Reading a book too close won't ruin your eyes. It'll just make you, it'll make you focus really, really, really closely for an extended period of time, and that can't be comfortable, so you might get a bit of strain or headache. But I don't think that reading too close is necessarily bad for you. There was this idea for a really long time that that's what caused bookish eyes or short-sightedness, but not necessarily the case. Kids especially have really great magnification in their muscles, and those muscles don't wear out from use. They wear out from age and cell reproduction and things like that. Yeah, so would I say reading a book too close is going to cause vision loss or need for glasses? No. I would probably question why that book is so close in the first place, considering it's so uncomfortable to hold it there or to look at it so close. And maybe there is already short-sightedness there. And again, many, many studies have shown that it's the vitamin D and it's the activation of a particular hormone in the retina that causes short-sightedness, or can be prevented. Short-sightedness can be prevented by exposure to natural light, at least 80 minutes a day, up until the age of 13 at least, so that there isn't that extension. But really, I would say that everybody needs, hour and a half of light every day for a bit of vitamin D. So take that into consideration too. In terms of sitting too close to the TV, yes, I do think that does ruin your eyes. Again, not causes short-sightedness like that myth would suggest. I think that is because it is a false light. It's an artificial light. It's full of blue light. Same thing goes for a phone or a tablet or a laptop. Extended use is terrible for kids. I think that kids should be severely limited with all these types of devices and whatnot. I think it could be maybe an hour at a time, seldomly throughout the day. If they are going to use a screen, if your kids need to use a screen for, say, long distance learning, or it just needs to happen, please set it as far away from their faces as possible so that other natural light can get between them and the device that they're watching. So I'd much rather kids sit on a couch 3 meters away from a TV screen, even a very large and bright TV screen, than have their noses stuck into a phone or tablet or laptop. That would be my preference, and I would do it in a fully lit room, so as low contrast as possible. So bright room, bright screen, no watching in the dark, things like that. If you want to have family movie night and you're watching a movie once a week with popcorn in the dark or something like that, that's okay, that's fine. But if you're making a regular daily habit of it, that's not cool at all. And it will ruin your eyes. In terms of development, it can definitely hinder things, again, if there's not enough natural light to balance it out. And it will definitely have long-term side effects later on in life, because we're just seeing so many people with deficiencies with age, like age-related macular degeneration, and we still don't really know why some people get, say, cataracts really young, or and others don't, or why some people go into reading glasses really young and other people don't. So other people tolerate things for much, much longer and see well for much, much longer. So things like that also definitely play a role. I will also say that all of these things can also be highly impacted with good diet. If you're in the habit of eating a lot of fresh seasonal leafy greens and vegetables, and fruits also fall in that category to an extent. I think you'll find that all those free radicals that we're really discussing here can be somewhat counteracted to a degree. And also there are lots of supplements available, good quality supplements available now, can help to eradicate some of those bits of damage that may have already been done or potentially done. Especially things like bilberry and lutein and beta-carotene and zeaxanthin. They're mostly antioxidants, and they help fight the damaging things from our environment. It's not just screens, it's also pollution and radiation and all that sort of good stuff. So definitely consider supplementing your diet with some really nice antioxidant. Can exercises improve your eyes? I get that so much. Yes, they can. Absolutely. Exercising your eyes is a very good idea. Will it take you out of glasses? No. Will taking certain supplements get you out of glasses? No. Will it make you less dependent on your glasses, and will it make your eyes more tolerant? And will it make your vision overall sharper and the tear film on your eyes clearer? 100%. There are amazing products out there. Some are really, really pricey because of the way that they've chosen to create the product. So perhaps ingredients are hard to make, or the batches are, hand-picked and things like that. Also, they claim. Okay, great, maybe that's good. The reality is that we're not eating. We can never eat enough to get the amounts that we need. Not anymore. Not with the way modern farming works. Unless you're growing it in your own backyard and you're monitoring the level of your soil minerals and things like that. The reality is it's really, really hard to eat your way to health fully. So I recommend things like there's drinks like an Ningxia drink, which is by Young Living, which is a really fantastic antioxidant. As I mentioned earlier, there are more basic or more general brands that will do a bilberry, zeaxanthin, etc. blend, so an eye health blend, and it doesn't cost the earth. And also there are powders, so you can get, if you don't like leafy greens or you just don't think you're getting enough, you can get them in a concentrate powder and just add them to whether it be your smoothies or your salads or whatever. They don't usually have much of a taste, especially the really good ones, so they can be easily added and introduced to the diet that way, especially with kids who don't like to eat their broccoli, which is most kids. My kids certainly don't. In some greens, there are powders that are very good quality and are proven time and time again to do the trick. If Whole Foods cannot, because they're made, it's very important, they need to be sourced from Whole Foods. We're talking about just dehydrated and powdered, where all the minerals have been preserved. All right, my lovelies. This was a hard one, to be honest, because I don't want to say something I don't know to be true. So everything I've said to you guys today has been, as far as I know today, to be absolutely the truth, as far as what the research that I've come across and I've gone ahead and done a little bit more of in preparation for this video. And this is the kind of advice that I always give out in clinic as well. So whatever I tell you guys, I will also tell paying patients in a medical setting under the care of an ophthalmologist that I work with. I'm definitely consistent with that. But information changes all the time and new research is coming out all the time, and I definitely like to stay on top of it. So if there's anything new that comes out and needs to be updated, you can bet that I will be definitely updating you guys with any new cool things that are coming out in the research, because it's fantastic how much is being learned every day, and how much we are growing as a society when it comes to knowledge and medical marvels and revelations and things like that. So really, really exciting time to be around. Make sure you guys hit me up on Instagram, follow me there. I'm doing my best to keep on top of life and stuff and kids, and still doing this because I love it and it's so much fun to be able to communicate with all you guys and reach out. So definitely head out to Instagram and subscribe here. Make sure you get that bell to notify you when the next video is up, and hopefully it will be next week. So I cannot wait to see you guys then. Wherever you are around the world, I hope you're staying safe and healthy and happy, and I'll see you next time.